Hey everybody, we're coming in hot with some more Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We got done talking to the governor and now we're headed to the shore to speak with Woods Rogers about our next task.
Good morning, Duncan. Just over here. Edward? Hello, Edward! I found a man to purchase my remaining sugar! Huh? Quite a coup, I must say. He just called you Edward.
Oh, that's the merchant who sailed me here. Out of caution, I gave him a false name.
Ah, well done.
We'll catch up on it later.
Very punctual, Duncan. This way. Here he is. A man both Templars and Assassins have sought for over a decade. I am told your surname is Roberts. Is this so? You recognize this, I think.
According to old tales, the blood of a sage is required to enter the observatory.
We have the key. Now we need only its location. Perhaps Mr. Roberts will be eager to provide it. Transfer him to my residence.
Such a fuss over one man. Is the observatory really such a grand prize?
See, sin duda. The observatory was a tool built by the precursor race. Its worth is without measure.
Precursor race? I see.
One of your early letters mentioned a desire to kill the Mayan mentor, Atabay. Were you able to carry out this contract before coming here?
I was not, no. Too many complications along the way.
A pity. But the maps you delivered with the blood vial will see that job finished.
Aye. That's the idea.
I don't like this route, Torres. We're exposed. Something is wrong. Stay close, Grandmaster.
I feel it too. Do not let them get their hands on the sage, at whatever cost.
Yet we continue this route.
Assassins!
Okay, I guess we do.
They're on the rooftops!
Oh, yeah, alright, we better deal with these ones on the rooftops. Oh man, there's actually a couple of them. That's skill, by the way. Not me just making a mistake and running past them. I was so good. All I had to do was brush up against them and they fell right off the roof. Easy peasy. Really? I think I missed. Oh yeah, I missed. 100%.
Stop him!
I just got darted. Why me? Have Rogers do it.
I'll give you that.
Alright. Can't let the sage get away, so here we go. Well, that didn't work out. The ladder.
Hang back and make this easy on both of us, mate.
Please. Okay, this is okay. How did I miss?
Stop, or I'll kneecap you.
It was a weird jump, but we got him.
Well done, lapdog.
Quiet.
We'll see him to the prisons, Grandmaster.
Double the watch.
Well, I'll be buggered. What an active day we've had, gents.
See, beset on all sides by our enemies. We must be more cautious.
I do wish I could remain to see our drama done, but I must avail myself of these winds and sail for England.
By all means, Captain, speed and fortune to you.
With luck, I'll return myself a governor. And with my idiot king's blessing, no less. Adios.
As for you, Mr. Walpole, I consider this the first payment in a long-term investment. Gracias.
Obliged.
I would like you to be present for the interrogation tomorrow. Call around noon.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh, I saw Edward's smile kind of turn into a frown. Now that we're done with that, we can take our newfound riches and go and talk to Stede Bonnet, as we said we were going to angrily earlier for shouting our name out.
God sink me for this pittance. 1,000 reals for those maps. That's what? £100 at most. How's a man supposed to become rich in these times with a miser like Torres running the world?
Have you ever, worked on a plantation before?
You know what I'm thinking? I'd like to see this observatory the governor's going on about. He said it were like a device that could follow people around and show where they were.
A ludicrous idea. Imagine my wife with such an advantage over me.
And imagine what a thing like that'd be worth. Sell that to the right person and I'd be the richest privateer in the West Indies. I'll catch you up on it. There's a sage in that house I must speak to in private.
Yeah, good cover with the privateer thing. Good try. Lucky for us, Bonnet didn't hear. Anyways, we need to steal the key from the warden, and here he is. All sort of by his lonesome. We can loot the key, get up to the governor's mansion door, and get inside and talk to the sage. Oh, free the sage, apparently. Don't think we need to do that, but it is what it is. If the game tells us to do that, that's what we'll do. Guards everywhere on this plantation. I feel like I'd notice hands or fingers skipping from point to point. We need one more guy from stalking points, zones, to get that sync, and of course we gotta stay out of combat. So far, so good. Here we are at the governor's mansion. There's no more guys. But there's blood all over the place, and downed guards. Uh-oh, something happened here. They decapitated? Oh no, they just... okay, they're not. They're all dead though, inside too. What's going on here?
Basta ya! What is your true name, rogue?
It's, Captain Pissoff.
Bien que pauvre paysan. Where is the sage? Did you set him free?
I had nothing to do with that. Much as I wish I did.
Take him to the ports. Send him to Sevilla with the treasure.
Oh, wait now! I delivered your treasures, didn't I?
You did, yes. But you robbed us of Duncan Walpole.
Well, that's unfortunate for us.
A despicable display. This tosspot is a ruined man, Caroline. Unfit for life on land, much less at sea. If he goes to the West Indies, it's you who'll suffer.
Father! Father! Come, love. Up with you now.
That old muckworm! He's wrong about me!
I hope it's so.
You believe me, don't you? Can you not see me? Standing out there on the deck of a ship that's sliding into port. And there I am, a man of quality. With 1,000 doubloons spilling from my pockets. Like drops of rain. I can see it.
I can't. It looks pretty dark outside.
La cena. Cómetela rápido.
You hungry?
Well, I gotta say that's a pretty terrible device. If you wanted prisoners shackled and stuff, you probably shouldn't have used that.
Find me a weapon and steal a ship.
Que Dios nos ayude. No me gusta la pinta de esa tormenta que se acerca.
Parece que se está desviando al oeste, hacia el golfo.
Alright, so there's a storm coming this way. And these guys here are worried about it. Treasure fleets were notorious, apparently, for getting into storms and whatnot. I guess probably because they were being followed or something like that. People seem to know very well if there was treasure on a ship. I guess because they were always sailing into certain places. So people could keep an eye on them when they figured out what they were. Maybe it's best to change where you were sailing from and to. Well, look at all that. We're just gonna leave it behind? Oof.
We're stealing a brig. Hey, take what you need.
Won't be a minute.
There's many prisoners held on these ships. Set them free, and they'll sail with us, no question.
So that's the idea then. Free what men we can, then find a fast ship to flee it.
Aye, there's a brig in this fleet. I'll make my way to it.
Okay. This is a Spanish treasure fleet. Looks like it's mostly men of wars. Well, there's a couple other ships here. It sounds like Ade is gonna go and find a brig for us to take. Should be fast enough to get us out of here. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to fight the storm as well. Shouldn't have checked on your buddy. Should have looked for the danger around. $16. Excuse me. No, not me. Oh, great. His buddies are here. Bye. Over those guys.
Catch to this favor. You're sailing with me.
I'd follow you to hell for this, mate.
Okay. I'll take you on your word, my friend. Hope they all can swim. Okay, 9 of 18. Let's make it to this smaller ship over here. This is perhaps a brig. Maybe not though. Gold, silver, jade, tobacco, you name it. Water. What about food? Stomach. Yeah. Alright. We can wait for the opportune moment. Or perhaps, maybe I should get behind these two here. The patrolling ones don't seem too bad. Perfect. You three. Let's go.
Come on, lads. If we're to drown today, it won't be here.
Pushing each other. Another big one. We weren't actually caught yet. Ooh. I'm surprised he didn't notice anything. I would have noticed. I don't care how loud this storm is. My peripherals are better than that. Great. Let them drown. Else we're all done. Well, that's mean of you. Alright, boys. Out of there.
There's a brig nearby just waiting for us to take her.
He doesn't give them a direction or anything. He's like, yeah, that one right there. These guys are just gonna swim in this stormy weather until they get to a brig. I guess it's probably that one. Oh, these ones aren't gonna drown. They're inside, it looks like. If I can ever get to them. Come on, gotta get in before he sees us. Oh no. Oh, these guys are gonna catch me. Yep, there it is, they come. Oh, cool. Oh, you're the only one, buddy. That was amazing. You're next. Shouldn't have came over here. In we go, Ed. Can I call you Ed? Did you hear the commotion from down here? It could have been the storm. It wasn't. I'm the storm. Hi. Don't talk to my buddies that way. All right.
We're going topside. Be ready.
Get armed with the gold, mates. Oh, 23 pirates. Oh, cool. So I did that in the right order. Let's learn a little bit about Florida here before we go up top. Home to several indigenous tribes, the Florida Peninsula was colonized by Spain some decades after Ponce de Leon's expedition explored the peninsula in 1513. During the age of the West Indies piracy, Spanish treasure ships would sail up the Gulf Stream on their journey back to Cadiz. Southern Florida therefore became a natural point of attack for pirates, and the Florida Keys a center of pirate recruitment. In particular, tropical storms famously shipwrecked several Spanish treasure fleets on the shores of Florida pirates and other flocked to pick through the wrecks and attack any survivors protecting the treasures. I'll give it to them. You know, they were good people for following their king and whatnot, but... And maybe back then it was worth your life. I don't know. Today, you know, you'd have to have a pretty good cause, I think, or be brainwashed. We must weigh anchor now. Well, I think what we need to do is get off of this ship, get onto that one, and kill the captain. That didn't work out. You're done. Guys on here.
Lay aboard, lads!
Save your singing for Davy Jones, you jagabats! It's a hard wind coming!
The man speaks true. You lot weigh anchor. As for the rest, half on the foremast and half at the main. Let's outrun this hurricane.
Edward's a seasoned pirate.
Watch on those galleons. See they don't give us trouble.
They won't. Far too slow for this weather. Fire! Fire! We've been scorched!
Mark any orders you think wise, mate. We're up against it here.
These guys know their place. They'll see us home.
Gosh, we got a long way to go. I feel like escaping the fleet isn't a big deal.
I see it.
They're gonna be too slow to catch us, but this storm is gonna be the one to wreck us, as it did before.
Water spout! Steer clear of that thing! Water spout, man! Stay away!
It's not looking good.
Definitely not. Yeah, stay steady and all that. Water spouts are actually, in that part of the world, pretty common occurrence. However, I don't think that they're this common. Like, you'd probably see one of them. I mean, this is pretty extreme to see several like this, I assume. By the math, it's reported that there are about 500-ish water spouts spotted around this area every year. And if you do the math, that's like 0.06 of a water spout every day. So I doubt that we can see one. But, of course, it's a storm, so maybe this is a day that we would see one. And then, so the storm makes sense to have one, but having several, probably not.
By God, we pulled this one straight from the teeth of Neptune. I'm Edward. Much thanks for your aid back there.
Adewale.
You ever been to Nassau, Adewale?
Not yet.
By God, she took some knocks, didn't she? I think I'll keep her. All hands aft, lads! We're taking this one home! I've made my choice, Addy. I'm calling her the Jackdaw. A sly bird I loved as a child back in Swansea.
A dark little creature, no?
Did it rub you wrong when I took this brig as mine own?
It was the sort of rub I have learned to endure, sailing among faces of such fairness.
It's true. Most of these men wouldn't accept you as a captain. So what fair role would complement such unfairness?
I'll be your quartermaster. Nothing less.
All right. And as quartermaster, have you any immediate counsel for this Tyro captain?
Rest and repast would do us good before Nassau. Water for drinking. Hunting for food and repairs.
Well reasoned, sir. Hunting, it shall be. We'll find a decent place to drop anchor. I spied a few items in the hold earlier. Powder and a few pistols. Think I'll fashion a second holster if I can.
It's a good start.
One you find laughable.
Could we talk a moment about the condition of the ship?
What's the trouble?
I had a walk about the gun deck this morning, and couldn't stand for what I saw. A clutter of linstocks heaped like tinder, and one with a slow match, still burning.
Christ.
And just nearby, 2 barrels of gunpowder, closer than man and wife. Fit to explode at the touch of a spark.
We'll stow ours good and proper.
As for the cannons, they might as well be tossed. Clogged touch holes in need of scraping, corrosion on the bodies, barrel swabs as naked as knives, and breech ropes so rotted, I could use them for knitting yarn. The short of it is, we need good equipment kept in fine condition. But we cannot win every battle with snares and shouts. So worry about your own armament when it suits you. But don't forget about your jackdaw as well.
No, indeed. We'll make it a point to keep this ship and its crew in fine condition.
Next, we can get to this island and hunt. I would think that it'd be faster if everybody, or at least most of the crew, came out and hunted with me. But, of course, it's going to be just us. And upon getting to the island, and on the island, we find a message in a bottle. And that reads... Come on. Peter Beckford, the elder of my employer. Excuse me. I must say something, for it was owing to his connections that I came to find such troubled dealings. Peter Beckford was a man of great charisma and pride. In 1662 he had come to Jamaica, and in just 10 years had fast procured himself a sizable portion of land, which he sowed with cane as early as he was able. Upon my coming into his orbit, he claimed all about him. One of the largest private holdings of land in all the world, rivaling only kings and emperors for his I don't know what that means. The same surplus applied to the number of slaves in his employ, whereas he had arrived in Jamaica with a complement of 3. He now owned the better part of 300. A shrewd and relentless man of business, Mr. Beckford was known also to be subservient to a temper of cyclonic power, wrath and fury, and enmity, where his primary means of settling arguments that could not be concluded in Mr. Beckford's immediate favor. He was, however, always kind to me, and as gracious a man as one could hope an employer to be. But this I put down to my status in his eyes. He was a traditional man with a respect for rank and breeding. In earlier times, he had been the governor de facto of the island, and though a statesman no longer, upon my arrival, he still bore all the signs of a man who felt it his natural duty to lead. Further, his political connections he valued as deeply as his sugar and the money it brought him. And it was in this capacity, following the arrival of a Spanish soldier, that I met the man who would change my life for the worse. However, a young man named Loreno Torres. Next we can read about Adwale, born 1692 in Trinidad, and we don't know when he died, but he was born to enslaved Ogoni parents in Yoruba. Adwale was sold to the owner of a prosperous plantation before his teens. He remained on this plantation working the fields until his mid-teens, always scheming of ways to escape his predicament, but uneasy with the prospect of living a life as a fugitive. Then fortune struck, giving Adewale the sign he needed. At some point near his 16th birthday, a group of buccaneers raided the plantation, robbing it of raw cane, refined sugar, and as many reals as they could find. Seeing in this an opportunity, Adwale grabbed a crate of sugar and hauled it aboard one of the longboats the buccaneers had rowed ashore. Surprised to see a slave among them, the buccaneers were nevertheless thankful for the aid and welcomed Ade among them. He sailed with the first group of men for many years, quickly learning the ways of a seaman, grateful for the chance to develop his own skills and chase down his own passions. And though his life among buccaneers was not free of the usual bigotry of the era, Ade found the prejudice to be more confrontational than restrictive. In 1715, misfortune struck a cruel blow when the ship Ade was aboard struck a shallow sandbar near the port of Havana. The buccaneers, mostly British at the time, tried desperately to free the trapped vessel, but after catching sight of a approaching Spanish galleon, abandoned ship only to be torn apart by schools of circling bull sharks, Ade made peace with his fate and stood his ground. Taken to Havana for questioning and inspection, Spanish authorities eventually decided to send Adewale to Spain, where they felt he would make an excellent interpreter, owing to his fluent command of Spanish, English, and French. Some weeks later, they loaded him into one of the galleons that made up their perennial treasure convoy en route to Seville. Next up, we have Coconut Beach, small sandy island that grow almost nothing but coconut trees. It was not uncommon for pirates to maroon their foes on such islands. Notable examples would be Abaco Island, Salt Lagoon, Santanillas, Cumberland Bay, Marijuana Island, and Cayman Island. Next up, we find a treasure map here on Coconut Island.
Well, that'll do.
Yes, it will do, Edward. And we'll find all these treasures later on. Once we have all the maps, I think I'll go through them. Or at least I'll go through one, tell you how they work. And then you can kind of find them by yourself. They're pretty easy to find for the most part. But maybe I'll kind of show you where the treasures are. Alright, so we're here to hunt. But we can probably just collect everything here while we're at it. We're hunting ocelots and iguanas. Mostly not for food, but because we can make a holster out of them. We can now go and meet Adewale on the ship. I assume the guys were fishing at this point, so that they could also have some food. I'm not exactly sure how iguana tastes. I'm pretty sure that you can't kill them in these areas anymore.
Ahoy, Captain. Find what you need.
My needs and wants are oceans apart, mate. But I did fashion myself a new holster. All I need now is a pistol to lie in it.
Yeah. Taken from the holds, just as you said.
A little more than a blowpipe. But it'll do. So, are we rested? Or should we idle a while longer?
Best way anchor. I think the crew is itching to reach civilization.
You'll find no civilization in Nassau. But it's a fine place to be merry all the same.
And as it so happens, not too far away is Nassau anyways. So we can accept to travel to the location.
Go on, Captain Queernabs. Tell me I'm under arrest. Tell me!
Them your breads.
Fly away, boyo! Back to your master!
Aye. We was privateers together before the wars ended. I'll see you ashore.
The first thing we can do is learn a little bit more about this place. It was originally founded as another Charles town. The city was renamed Nassau in honor of King William III of the House of Orange Nassau. This city has a particularly colorful past. In 1706, the city's officially appointed governor skipped town, thus severing the crown's direct control over the Bahamas. The islands languished for almost a decade in the hands of British citizens with little or no interest in statesmanship. By 1713, the entire region had become a haven for pirates, and it was in this period that Benjamin Hornigold declared Nassau to be a pirate republic. He proclaimed himself governor, and therefore every pirate of any sense and reputation used Nassau as a base of operation, transforming this small city of barely 1,000 residents into a nest of infamous bastards. According to the governor of Bermuda, note, great find on the Pirate Republic. I'd heard of that, but thought it was all bogus. Signed RL. Note, it's so wonderful. I mean, not wonderful for the people that got murdered, ravished, and marooned, but fantastic for our purposes. This gives us an anchor. Signed by Miss LeMay. Next up, we have the iguana, found from Brazil to northern Mexico, as well as the Caribbean islands, also Texas, Florida, Hawaii. This common iguana eats only leaves, flowers, and fruits. The iguana typically flees when threatened, but can puff its body and hiss or lash its tail, and bite if necessary. The ocelot is a nocturnal wildcat. The typical ocelot has yellow fur with dark stripes in the manner of a dragwire. They range from the size of a domestic cat up to larger varieties of up to 4 feet in length. Note, a cat-sized jaguar, that's got to be a joke. OG. You can find them in South and Central America, on up to Mexico and Texas, and of course the Caribbean, DM. We may have to consider putting tigers and cassowaries in these jungles too. Something genuinely threatening. Signed by Mr. Gagne. Please, no, I beg of you. Signed DM. Alright, let's get a look at what we're dealing with here on the island. And maybe do a little treasure hunting. This music's not as good as the Havana music, but still. And while exploring, we found a crocodile. The crocodile is a large, tropical-dwelling tetrapod. Crocodiles can measure up to 15 feet long and weigh up to 2,000 pounds and live up to 70 years of age. This prehistoric-looking predator preys on birds, fish, insects, and other reptiles. The species has survived the threat of multiple mass extinctions and today remains classified as critically endangered. Crocodiles have been known to indulge in cannibalistic behavior. Because of this, they live in groupings of the same size. Not to be confused with alligators, crocodiles are bigger, lighter in color, and have narrower snouts. Although known to attack humans, the crocodile is more likely to flee than react aggressively when approached. I think it's just then react aggressively when approached. But the was added in there. Also, I noticed a lot of capital letters that shouldn't be where they are. Note, wow, someone is really into crocodiles and cannibalism, RL. The crocodiles Kenway encountered must have been especially bitey, JM. Can we keep the focus more on subjects whose ancestors or descendants impacted history? ML. Wrong place, wrong time, brother. You deserve this for not seeing me. Next up, we found a ancient Mayan codex, still extant, currently being held in Dresden, once owned briefly by the wealthy plantation owner Peter Beckford. And a little while after that, we stumble upon the Old Avery Tavern. Old Avery Tavern. This drinking spot, named after the king of pirates, Henry Avery, was highly popular among gritty seafarers in the early 18th century. Legend had it that Avery himself once had a financial stake in several establishments throughout the West Indies, but that appears to be nothing more than self-promotion. I believe it was burned to the ground by a disgruntled pirate in 1750s DM. Disgruntled pirate, ? JM. So there's a king of the pirates, and his name is not Gold D. Roger. Something's not adding up. Anyways, after this, we can go back to doing things that are socially unacceptable and hitting up some of these viewpoints. I get that the church steeple is a great place for these. This one makes sense, but I don't understand why there's that little thing that sticks out from it. They don't really have those. Just let me go on the top of the church steeple, and that will do just fine. Thank you. Next up, we can find another manuscript. This time it's guarded by some red coats. I didn't mean to do this, so bye. Now give me my manuscript, thank you. 3 of 5 secrets, to a couple left. This one is World Map 1570. A map of the world by Abraham Ortelius, creator of what many consider to be the first modern world atlas, once a part of Peter Beckford's collection. This Peter Beckford comes up a lot, and he had a big collection. Every one of these so far, I think. Was a good collector, that guy, Mr. Peter. And according to Wikipedia, he was a bunch of other stuff. He was in the military, and he was a planter, and probably owned a plantation. Just a bunch of stuff, so his record's long. Longer than a laundry list. Huh? Lucky for us, this manuscript wasn't too far away, and it is Solaris from Mundus. Right there. Subterranus. An early image of the sun and its spots, published in the 16th century by Athanasius Kircher, thought to be from the collection of Peter Beckford. And here's our next one. It should be our final one for this island. It is Tabulae Rudolfine, taken from the Tabulae Rudolfine by Johannes Kepler. Possible connection to Emperor Rudolph II from Peter Beckford's collection. Oh, and while wandering around, we find this lovely staircase called the Queen's Staircase. 65 steps carved directly into the promontory rock. The Queen's Staircase connects the lower town to the fortifications above. Slaves carved the steps by hand in 1773 and 74. into the 102-foot solid limestone cliff. Well, that's sad to hear about. Note, saw this on my honeymoon. Too bad the dates don't match our virtual experience. Local legend was that the steps were carved to honor Queen Victoria's reign. One step for every year, ML. I call BS. Queen Victoria wasn't born yet in 74. They saw it coming. Anyways, it's a cool structure. I say we sneak it in. No fudging dates. D, you're such a killjoy. It's too iconic to leave out. It goes in. Well, the boss says it goes in, so it goes in. I still, it's dumb. Well, let's dedicate some stairs to a queen that the guys that are carving them out don't even care about. Like, what the heck? But, they didn't get a choice, I guess, so that's crappy. Let's talk to Audie at the tavern.
By God, you're a sight for salty eyes. Come you in and have a drink.
Morning, all.
Oh, I can't wait. Who's this?
Adewale, the Jackdaw's quartermaster.
Jackdaw. You named your brig after a poxy bird.
Ade, these lads are the better part of our growing confederacy here. Ed Thatch, Ben Hornigold, James Kidd.
You let him carry a pistol, do you?
Peace, Ben. Ade saved my life. And now we're looking to find a crew to fill out the rest of my ship.
Well, there's scores of capable men about. But use caution. The shipload of the King's sailors showed up a fortnight back, causing trouble and knocking about like they own the place.
Right. I'll see who I can muster.
Now that we've met these fine chaps, let us learn a bit about them. First, we have Benjamin Hornigold, born mid-1680s, and he died... I don't know when he died. Benjamin Hornigold was likely born in Norfolk, England, although this has yet to be confirmed. All other information about his early life is unknown as yet. The first recorded instances of him are of his early exploits as a pirate in the West Indies around 1713 and 14. He was one of the earliest pirates to emerge after the end of the Spanish War for Succession, which gives us good reason to believe he was one of the many hundreds of privateers who were left without gainful employment in the ensuing peace. Like many other British mariners, Hornigold spent much of his time in the Bahamas, eventually settling in Nassau. It was from here he launched his career as a full-fledged pirate, though he likely thought himself as a privateer in his earliest years, at least. I suppose when you go from working for the king to not, and you kind of keep your loyalty a little bit, maybe, a skillful sailor and strategist, Hornigold lacked some of the ruthlessness required to be a truly successful pirate, and until 1716 refused to attack English ships out of a sense of loyalty, there you go, to his home country. Note, a pirate with a sense of honor would make a superb hero, IMHO, I don't know what that means, if our edits to Edward Kenway don't pan out. JM. Agreed, J. His lack of facial hair is a bonus. The beards on most of these guys look like owls' nests. Ugh. ML. And we have Edward Thatch, born 1680 in England, and he died we don't know when. Known variously by different sources as Thatch, Teach, Titch, or teach, I don't know, teach, tack, and more. We are fairly certain this Edward was born in or around Bristol and took to the seas at an early age, most likely in his teens. It is also speculated that he arrived in the West Indies quite soon after leaving England. From this, if this indeed was the case, Ed Thatch would have seen his fair share of the War of Spanish Succession, a protracted fight between most of the empires of Europe that pitted Britain against royalist Spain and France. In these early years, from 1700 to 1713, he would have been a privateer, or at the very least, a merchant seaman, doing his part for the crown, Queen Anne, at the time. I think according to most historians, Thatch here didn't kill too many people. If any, he used scare tactics, mostly. But, going on, with the Treaty of Utrecht, bestowing peace upon a troubled Europe in 1713, Thatch and his fellow sailors would have found themselves far from home and out of work. They thus turned to piracy as a means of sustaining themselves. In the ensuing years, Thatch befriended a captain named Benjamin Hornigold, and soon after joined his crew as quartermaster. At some point between late 1714 and early 1716. Settling in Nassau, Thatch, Hornigold, and the rest of the Flying Gang, as these pirates called themselves, began cooking up schemes far larger than most pirates of the era dared dream. Wanting nothing less than a country of their own, they worked to turn Nassau into a place of liberty and freedom for all who desired an escape from the bonds of imperial rule. Unfortunately, you still kind of need some order, at least a little bit, or you'll just have wild, everywhere chaos. Next up, we have James Kidd, born 1695, and we don't know when he died. James Kidd is a young man with a long and checkered past. Not yet out of his teens, he's a cocky and confident lad with a brashness cultivated to counter his youth. He also claims to be the bastard son of late William Kidd, the infamous privateer-turned-pirate, who was captured and hanged by British authorities in 1701. Although James has no proof of this connection, his mother always insisted on it, claiming that she spent a single panicked night of passion with Captain Kidd just before his departure from London in 1695. Growing up fatherless and with a spendthrift mother did little to improve his prospects at leading a normal life, and by the age of 12 he had found employment aboard merchant vessels sailing between the British colonies in North America and the West Indies. By the time he was 17, James called Jamaica his home, and he further honed his skills as a sailor there. Although he never sailed with the likes of Ben Hornigold, Ed Thatch, or Edward Kenway, James was among the first sailors to settle in Nassau and was a crucial figure in its development as a republic.
Send any men you find to the Jackdaw. I'll put them to work.
Cheers, Addy.
Alright, so we gotta go and rescue some fellow sailors to recruit to our cause.
That's what's happened. Sent by the king's son.
And here's one now.
Dinner, either way, Jack.
Oh gosh. It's just one, so I hope we don't have to collect an individual 15 you missed.
Damn you. Captain Kenway, just in time. I see you
I
back a
guess
boat.
we were, it's not a boat. I guess we were kind of known already to be sailing with the likes of Ben Hornigold and Thatch. So it's probably the reason that some of these guys, or most of them, know who we are. Alright, past the guards, killing these guys. I wanted to stab them both, that didn't work out, and now I'm in a bit of trouble. Now I gotta deal with all these guys. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. Boom. Probably shouldn't kill too many people. 4 guys? Alright, that's good. Anyways, you get the idea. It's just like recruiting our assassins before in some of the games. Okay, here's what I'm really looking for, right? What I'm looking for is 1, a straw hat. 2, a swordsman. 3, a thief. 4, let's say a cook. I don't know, a doctor maybe. A musician. And, you guys have to tell me if I'm missing anybody. And maybe a fishman. I think that'll do it. I think I'm missing somebody. Oh yeah, and the archaeologist. Yep, that's right. Missing the archaeologist. And a robot. Sorry, cyborg. Anyways, while we're recruiting the rest of our crew here, I just would like to thank everyone for watching if you made it this far. Hope you enjoy the games we've been playing. I'm going to switch it up here soon. I think I'm going to play one more Assassin's Creed after this one. And then I'm going to be all Assassin's Creeded out for a while. But I think I'm going to move on to some Zelda. Maybe. I might do some Grand Theft Auto. We'll see. And then eventually, some point, we'll get back to this. Not this one specifically. We'll be done with this one. But we'll get back to some Assassin's Creed after that, maybe. Or whatever. Maybe do some Fallout or, you know, whatever I feel. I don't know. But,
Prepare to bleed.
Jerk. Anyways, we're going to end up ending the episode here. Again, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing it, so that's all I care about. Anyways, I'd like it if somebody could go ahead and comment. I'd like to respond to some of the comments. Doesn't matter what you comment. You know, just say what's on your mind. And maybe we can have a little conversation about it. Tell you my thoughts. Not that anybody cares. I wouldn't. But, you know, it's nice to talk. It's a little talking channel. But, anyways, thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, dislike, do whatever you want. Goodbye.
Pull me from the deep there, Captain. Jack thanks you hearty.